is not about like striving for perfection, but it's more about how can we get our kids to the next level of excellence, because they're the ones that are going to have that resiliency to thrive on their own, and we're just teaching them the tools of how to get better.
Welcome to Unlock 360, the podcast that delves into education, leadership, and reform. I am Wendy Davoud, your host, and joining me today are Kristen Buczek, Systems Improvement Coach with LTL360, Kimberly Mitchell-Lewis, Principal in Vallejo City Unified School District, and Angee Phraxayavong-Briones, Campus Principal in Gateway Community Charters. Welcome. Make sure to stick around until the end of the episode to learn how you could receive a coaching session driven by a leadership competency assessment. Check out the link below in the description where you can get the 4 key steps you must take now to stop your educators from leaving. Angee, Kim, tell us a bit about yourself and your work.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Angee Phraxayavong-Briones, and I'm the current campus principal at Community Collaborative Charter School, the TK8 campus. I'm really excited because education is my passion. I started as a high school teacher and then did most of my teaching as a middle school teacher, so middle school teacher by heart. And the work that we do is just so very important because of the students, the scholars that we serve, very high needs, a lot of students who go through trauma, but also the best greatness just waiting to be unpacked. So I'm very excited to be able to be part of their journey towards greatness.
Thank you. Kim?
Good morning. My name is Kimberly Mitchell-Lewis. I'm a principal in Vallejo City Unified School District. I've been in the district since 1999, where I started as a teacher, and I've worked at all levels as a teacher and administrator. I'm from Solano Widenmann Leadership Academy at TK through 8th grade school. And our focus is looking at our worth and potential for our students.
Thank you. So tell us what it was like when you first began your work with either Kristen or myself or another one of our team members here at LTL360.
Yeah, so I've been with our organization. This is my 11th year in education and at Gateway Community Charters. And so I got to see kind of the beginning of the work that we did with LTL360. It helped us bring in that it's all connected. The work is connected, it's all coherent. We can't do everything in isolation because it's not going to work. We can't spend our energy or our time in one place, then move on to the next and move on to the next. And it has to go cohesive in a coherent cycle. So that's just kind of one of the things that I got to see with our work, is that we're all here together and doing the same work, and we have to find a way to connect all of the important pieces together.
So in Vallejo City Unified School District, we were looking to create an environment where we had clear instructional practices and expectations across the district. And in starting our work with LTL 360, I was at a different elementary school where we were implementing a program or a process, Leader in Me process, which required me to assist in ensuring that we were in alignment with district expectations. In working with LTL 360, I was able to receive the supports in order to help align where we were going as a school site, our vision as a school site, with that of the district. And so having that support and collaborative work was very important and helped us to move forward successful as a school.
Kristen, is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I would just love to say that it's really exciting for me today, by the way, to get to see leaders from 2 of our, most prominent partnerships that we have right now in the same room together, because it just kind of shows how it spans across the system and how our goals are all the same. We're trying to build collaborative cultures. We're trying to help teachers, staff members realize their impact on students and outcomes for kids. And really getting to be a part of that in both spaces has been very empowering for me. I feel like I've learned a lot from both organizations, and so having you all in the room together, and you're back, you're getting ready to start here pretty soon, has been really wonderful for me.
Thank you. So how has your work with us supported you in implementing systems or shifting culture and within your specific districts or school sites and programs?
So at Solano Widenmann Leadership Academy, we implement Leader in Me. That's a process where we focus on the 7 habits of highly effective people in 3 particular areas of leadership, culture, and academics. And the focus is for us to support the worth and potential of all students, staff, and the community. We support all stakeholders in the Leader in Me process. With LTL360, Wendy supported us in our thinking and our work and in our collaboration in order to ensure that, again, we were in alignment with the district expectations, and supported in our journey as a Leader in Me school. And so, with that work, at my previous school site and this school site, and now other school sites in the district, we can see where that work has really been supportive.
If I can just add to that before we go over to you, Angee, I'm sure you're chomping at the bit to respond. But I think that what's also really interesting about having both of you on is where we are in our work together and our partnership, because we're still, relatively new in the beginning phases of our work in Vallejo City Unified. And Kim's school site will really begin the site level work to advance their programs and have an even greater impact this coming school year. So she's really experienced that district leadership teamwork and also being a part of an academic team that was establishing some priorities. And I think it's going to be a fun year for you, Kim, to experience the perspective at the site level. And Angee, would you like to add to that in addition to what Kim said, maybe, or speaking specifically to your experience with the culture shift or with change?
Yes, absolutely. So we are at the phase, for me, I got to experience as a teacher the groundwork, what it took to really make sure that we develop the work that's aligned with our mission and our vision for Community Collaborative Charter School. It's we start with like,
That's right. If I could jump in here, you just
yes,
reminded me that you were still a classroom teacher at the school site when we began the work. And so
mhm.
that is an awesome perspective to have on our show today. Please keep going.
Yes, it's great to see because talking about the cultural shift that you mentioned, not only in education but also how important the work is within the organization. Because you can have where if you start from the district, we are doing this, but if there is no buy-in from the teachers who are going to lead the work, it won't be as effective. So I got to see firsthand the really what it took behind the scenes to make it a collaborative effort, and the efficacy of the teachers to really want that change, to really decide what is going to be impactful. And now I get to be in the seat where I get to lead from the middle, because even if you're leading from the middle, learning that is it all of us, is it one of us driving, we still need to have someone driving the work. And I learned that I'm leading the work as a driver to help maintain the momentum, but sparking the excellence of my teachers to continue to do the work every single day. And because it's them every single day that's going to know what our students need, or, hey, this is not working. What can we do at our school to make sure that the needs of our kids are met, not only academically, but mentally, emotionally too. So leading from the middle is really where I am at the site level with my platform. Getting coaching from Kristen and Wendy, and then getting support from from GCC. It's all like everyone's in a different phase to support each other, but I'm really excited for the next phase that we're at, is like really empowering the teachers to be leading the work from the middle.
Thank you, Angee. If I could circle back to Kim, what you mentioned about the leader in me, and I've noticed that in our work together, you've made some connections to the coaching and the maybe the advice or the thought partnership that happens at the district level, and to the principals that are part of Covey's Leader in Me program or model for schools. Will you speak to that, some of those connections that you've made?
So it was really empowering to see how, as administrators, when we do our work, we want to always do our work well. And part of that is to ensure that there's a alignment with what's happening. And so, not too long ago, we were in a meeting, and I was really excited to see, wait a second, this is in alignment with what we're doing in our Leader in Me process. Wait, what do you mean? No more work? I don't have to do extra? It's all in alignment with each other. Yes. It's like it's not recreating wheels. It's bringing the work and the thinking and the love and support um, in our jobs to a place where we can work succinctly, work with intention, and not working to check off what we need to do, but working almost like talking as a driver, that you're driving to your destination and beyond. And so that having that experience in our meeting was very, very impactful for me, to know that we are working together. We are working with the same vision. Um, Although other schools can have different visions, we're all merging together, and using the analogy of driving. So that was really exciting for me. I know I was chomping at the bit to share that in our meeting, like, wait, yes, yes, yes. We're all working together. This is feeling great. I can do this. So
And I remember, Wendy, when you told me about that, when we were talking about Leader in Me and what Solano Widenmann was doing, and how it's really all about building leaders at every level, and very specifically down to the students as well, which I know Angee is super passionate about, um, in my experience there. So I remember the moment you told me that, and you said, and we're going to have Kim on, and she's going to talk about that a little bit, and it just does tie together so nicely, and it's driving towards the same goal, even though you're not doing it in the exact same way. And I think that that's part of what we're striving for in our work, is that we're not trying to come in and tell you this one thing is, we're the magical fix. It's everyone is bought into the power of collaboration. Everyone is bought into the power of leading from the middle, leadership at every levels. And it's really fun to hear you and see you get jazzed about that too, Kim.
yeah, it's really exciting. And the great thing is that I have never felt like um, LTL360 was coming in telling me what to do because that's what other people do. the it feels like the goal of our work is to work together to ensure what we have, so meeting us where we are, taking our strengths, taking our worth and potential, and pushing us forward, working with us collaboratively. So it's not a come in top down, this is what X, Y, and Z district has done and they're successful. It's looking at who we are and working with us to be better and to work in alignment, at all levels. And so I'm really passionate about that.
No, I would love to add on to what Kim was saying about the alignment, because when Kristen visited us, one of the Leading from the Middle sessions, and we did, what does a CCCS graduate, like a portrait of a graduate, look like? And even though we are a TK campus, what we are doing is building the foundation for them once they get to high school in the next phase, whether no matter where they go to. And this year, especially within the GCC, we're looking now, what does a GCC graduate look like? Because our school is going to affect, our organization will affect all levels and all schools. And it starts from who we are, as what drives our heart and our passion, right? And these kids. And it doesn't matter where they come from or what neighborhood they are in. If we as an organization and the partnerships like LTL360 are all in line with what we want for our kids, that's where that magic happens. And it's the spark that it brings out when we collaborate together, that synergy, like Kim was talking about, the energy we have, where we have this collective calling for the betterment of our scholars. Like, I think that's why it works so well for us on that partnership that we do, because it brings out our goals. It brings out our end goal of what we want for our students.
It's also a relationship though that happens because I've been in meetings and I try to not be the person who you can, you know, by my eyes or my reaction. I'm not good at hiding my reactions. How about I say that?
Neither Kim or I have a really strong poker face. Yeah. Yeah. We we share that. We have that in common. Yeah.
Yes. So we were in the meeting and I was wearing a mask in that meeting. I don't know if you recall this, but we were in the meeting. I'm wearing a mask. There's a conversation that happens, and I guess that eyebrow um, did something. And Wendy came to me and said, "So tell me more." And to me, that said, this is a person, not a company or a business, a person who is in tune with me, who is looking at me to see where we are, my reaction, and where we're going to move forward. And so to have that, and that makes me emotional because most people don't necessarily do that as a presenter. You were able to ask me, what's your thinking? Let's talk it through. What's going on? And we were able to talk through and put me at ease with where I was working, and the work that we're in is not something that's going to be pushed to the wayside. It's work that's going to continue, but continue with support. And so that experience was very powerful.
Can I add to what Kim is saying? Because she's on a great topic about support. That's literally also what's like wonderful about our partnership, because I can call a executive director, I'm struggling with this. The superintendent, I'm struggling with this. Wendy, I've called a few times, or even on call, like, and she's like, I don't know how to push forward this work, and it's not easy. It's not easy to change a culture or make a shift for the betterment. And that's where the having someone to be able to not only support you, what Kim said, but also help you drive the work, because there will be moments when it's challenging. And in order for us to be able to help our scholars push through and persevere, we also need our support system, because the work is not easy, and we can't do it alone. So I just want to echo that strong support, that it's so important to have, um, because there will be days when it feels like our work is is not making an effective change, but it is, and we just have to remind each other that we are doing wonderful work, and we just are here for each other.
Thank you both for sharing.
Oh, it just feels good to hear them say that. And I was just thinking, we've actually gotten to hear from the leaders of both of your organizations throughout this process. And it's great for us to know you also have the internal support as
Mm-hmm.
well, because it's about building your people. And this isn't something that you can just do at your only at your school site. There really needs to be a through line across, um, across schools, across the levels of leadership. I know I kind of keep repeating
Mm-hmm.
that, but I think that that's what really helps to build those relationship. Kim helps just make you feel the support from both sides, and then our role is to kind of come in and maybe sometimes give an alternate perspective, or even just an ear, an ear to listen as an outsider, and then also getting to share, oh my gosh, I met with Angee this morning and listened to what they're doing. And now Kim, now we're meeting this afternoon. Here's an idea, and just getting the opportunity to kind of share those across the board is really, really wonderful. So thank you for sharing. I'm feeling good. I've got all the feels right now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Remember to check out the link in the description below to access your free copy of the 4 keys to stop your educators from leaving now. So, how important would you say flexibility is? And I'm asking all 3 of you, how important is flexibility when it comes to this work and increasing or improving engagement amongst, teams and individuals?
I think if there's nothing else I've learned in being in this role and having kind of a vision of a way something's going to go when you either get on a call with a leader or a team, or you're showing up with these are the points I need to hit. If I've learned nothing else, is that you need to be flexible, because I was on a school site for many years, but you can get removed from that real quick and forget what the grind is like and what the day-to-day is like and what the human side of things is like. And so it's also really beautiful in that way, though, because you learn a new kind of agility when you're entering a room of, maybe you've got some new teachers in there, or maybe there's been an event on campus or something like that, that you just kind of have to meet people where they're at. And it's also modeling for teachers and leaders that's how we have to work with our staff. And that's what we would like you to do with your students, is you got to meet them where they're at, but don't take too many excuses either. I kind of think that's our role, is to come in and remind you what your commitments were, help with the accountability piece, because we can have the best learning day together in the world, but the minute you set foot out that door, everything else can come back in. So I think being flexible in that way. So it's not just about timing and things like that. It's about, again, back to the relationship building, like getting to know your audience, getting to know the people that you're working with, and what the outcomes are for the day, and how whatever it is that we're doing is in service of kids and getting them where they need to be.
Angee, I'm wondering your thoughts on this one. How important has the flexibility been to increase engagement or to create buy-in when it comes to our partnership and the work?
As Kristen said, very important. But I do want to emphasize, though, where the flexibility is important, because the mission, the goals, the end game of what we want for our scholars, or what we do as an organization, should stay the same. I mean, granted, if you're in the right organization, I will say that, right? But the goal, the mission, the vision should never change. The flexibility, I think, should come from how we get there. So the journey to it. Because for our organization, we have 9 different LEAs, but every school is different on their journey, but we still have a united vision of what we want for our scholars to be from when they start to when they graduate high school. So the route to the journey, I think that's where the most flexibility is. And just being okay that what you saw on the pathway might not be aligned with what your team is, like what you said, where they're at. And we have to learn to be okay with the adjustment and pivoting as needed.
I think it's flexibility with intention.
I love that.
So I think that that's really, really where the key is that it's not a willy-nilly flexibility. It's flexibility with the intention of really, I
Willy-nilly
mean,
flexibility. I like that.
but it's with the intention of knowing that you're working towards a goal, right? And so, I think about, we had an experience where in our June leadership, um, as a district administrators in our June leadership, we reflect on what happened during the school year, steps to take moving forward. We collaborate, reflect, take the data, do a lot of great work. Oftentimes, with no, malintent from anyone, when you get to your next school year, that information was important in June, but it's information that stays in June. And so as we started our work this past year, actually a year before, we were in our instructional leadership team meeting, and questions and data started appearing. And I said, wait a second, I've seen this data before. I've heard these questions. This was from the work that we did in June. And I celebrated and wanted the group to celebrate that the work that we did in our June leadership transferred to the work that we were doing in our instructional leadership team in August, September, early part of the year. How empowering is that to know that as an administrator, your feelings, your hard work, everything that you did in the previous year was reviewed, and then we put in place how we move forward. So that happened in our meeting. And so for us to go again from our June leadership meeting to our um, instructional leadership meeting in the next school year and build upon our foundation, it was wonderful to not only be seen but also heard, empowering to be seen and heard. So flexibility with intention is so important in education. As much as we want to have everything scripted, it doesn't work that way. It's the flexibility with intention that works.
I love that.
I remember that moment very, very well, and it was, one of the moments that I was feeling really proud about the work that we do and the way that we partner with our clients, as opposed to just coming in and kind of telling them what to do. It's about getting to know them and figuring out what they have already done and how do we build from that. Because Kim, another thing I remember you speaking to in one of our initial kind of early on meetings was that you were just really grateful that we were staying with it, like we were seeing things through, and that your district hadn't really been doing that as well prior. And so I think that's also really was a very proud moment too, because we know that that's what matters.
I think it's the idea of the difference between building a plane and flying it and building a plane while flying it. Thinking about it that way shows that we approach the work differently. As an administrator, to build a plane and fly it versus building a plane while flying it is just a very different experience. And I think that's the relationship that has happened here.
Keep going back to the intentionality that you said, the flexibility with intention. And that's what all of this is about, is being intentional with every move we make, with the goals that you set, with the outcomes, and then the way to get there. I think that you both offered really, really amazing points there.
Angee, in terms of leadership, how has our team at LTL360 made the most effective use of communicating with all members of your organization?
One, I think the most important part is that it feels like a partnership. We have our ideas. You are open to sharing your thoughts, but it's never, well, no, we're going to do it this way. So it's a collaborative effort, and starting with, even from the organization, from our superintendent to our executive directors, your team is meeting with me, like site administrators, and you're doing the work with the teachers. So it all becomes connected. And I think what I value the most is that our work. Kristen knows our work, and where we are, and where we want to our school to head. And the resources that you bring in, from the coaching to just what's going to best work with not just our teachers, but then also with our students. And I continuously, I value the just the partnership. So it's, once the call ends, the support doesn't end, right? So from the text to the emails, and just the connectedness that we have. So we talked about building like personal relationships, like with our students, like the relational capacity, but also it's who we work with too, and that's what's going to allow us to drive the work even further.
It's also the celebrations that happen. So, in our work, it's oftentimes we don't celebrate our successes. And so that those celebrations have happened in our meetings, and you have brought to light to us some the things that we don't necessarily see ourselves. Um, Coming from outside of the district, you're able to say, hey, this is what I've seen, and you guys should celebrate. And oftentimes that's important for people in education to hear, the good things that we're doing, the great things that we're doing, recognizing those things, and being able to build off of them. So to me, it's in alignment with our Leader in Me process, where we're looking at the worth and potential of everyone, and that's what happens when we celebrate. And so I've enjoyed those times as well, that we're able to discuss and celebrate the work that we're doing together.
Yeah. And adding on to what Kim said, I love that you mentioned that the celebrations, the small wins, the big wins. And what's also great is that the plus one. All right, now what's the next level? Like, how can we go from here? Next up, next up. And it's not about like striving for perfection, but it's more about how can we get our kids to the next level of excellence, because they're the ones that are going to have that resiliency to thrive on their own, and we're just like teaching them the tools of how to get better. So just like celebrate, and then all right, what's next? Level up.
Exactly. We had an experience where I think we were on like draft 17, and it was like draft 17 of the work, and it's like, so to me, I really like English, right? So to me, having draft 17 is awesome. It means that we are definitely going back to the table, refining what we're doing, really creating an alignment for ourselves. So draft 17s and beyond are not a bad thing.
Yeah, your team got to draft 17 in like a matter of 2 months. So it didn't hold us. It did not hold you back. I said us accidentally. I do that. I start
That's not an
inserting
It's an
accident.
myself.
us.
That's
Right?
You
an
do
Yeah,
that.
it
I
is an us.
can't. I tell them that all the time. Our kids,
Yeah.
you know,
But
feels that way.
but really just dug in deep in a short amount of time to create that clarity around the instructional priorities. So thank you both for sharing. I know what I'm looking forward to as a result of our work together, but I'm curious, Kristen, what you're looking forward to as a result of our partnership and continued work with Angee and others at Gateway, as well as our work in Vallejo City Unified. And then I'm also curious to hear from both of you. What are you looking forward to as a result of our partnership heading into the new school year? So, Kristen?
I think my answer is pretty simple. Results for students and the best results for students, and all means all, every single student. But I'm also very much looking forward to the process of getting there, because in both of these organizations, and even just in the conversations today, the paths look very different, but we're all aiming for the same goal, results for kids. And I think more and more day by day with each school, each organization, we're gonna get to see that happen. And just like with teachers in their classrooms, I find such joy when you see adults coming together and the light going on, and the reality of we're not alone, and we shouldn't be, and we can't do this alone. Like, there's nothing better than when you see that happening at your school site. So for me, I'm looking forward to getting to carry that on and actually be at your school sites this year. I got to visit one of the Gateway schools last year, but this year I'll get to see more of them. And Angee, I'll see you in person again, and Kim will be working together. So those actual hands-on experiences with you all.
So I'm looking forward to our work moving forward, the celebrations. I'm looking forward to the celebrations of our work. I'm working collaboratively with everyone. It's not often as an administrator that you will have a work partner. And so having a work partner from outside the district, working collaboratively with other administrators within the district, and then now even working with Angee outside of our district, I'm really looking forward to the work.
Oh, that is just
I love that
magical.
so much.
Yes, that
See?
we just that
Yeah.
is
Connections.
awesome. Yeah.
Genuine excitement over here. So
Angee, how about you? What are you looking forward to as a result of our partnership?
As a result of our partnership, I'm really looking forward to how I can unleash the greatness of my teachers and staff. Um, I I have a lot of experience in the classroom. I'm really passionate about teaching, but I have a lot to offer to my team as a teacher, but I don't know everything. And they also have a lot to offer to me. And I want to grow with my team. I want to empower them to lead the work. I want to see them blossom into leaders themselves. So the leading from the middle part is very important to me this year, because I want them to see in themselves how I see them, and I want to be able to help them grow each other. So the collaborative partnership with my team is what I'm really excited for.
Helping them discover the leader in me.
Wow.
Whoa.
I know. I got
Nailed
goosebumps.
it.
I got
Yes.
goosebumps. Thank you both so much for joining us today. It has been an honor. And for our listeners that have listened in and or watched us, we appreciate you taking the time to learn more about the work that gets sustainable results for students. For a limited time, we are offering a free coaching session backed by a leadership competency assessment to superintendents, assistant superintendents, and site principals. Click on the link below to apply today.